I was doing grade 11. And when I was doing grade 12, I didn't finish it and I found out that I was HIV positive. Then I heard that there are people who are coming here for the support group, but I was scared of coming. Then I went back to Eastern Cape because I'm from Eastern Cape and I stayed there. 2005, I came back and I started coming here to the support group where there was Tepi, Mr. Joseph and everyone. Then I started to feel at home here. Then I always coming here. I came here until I was strong. I've got a job at Line Dog at farm style shop. I was a cashier. Then the other day I said, no man, let me phone Louise, and I SMS Louise that I'm looking for a job because I didn't like the fact that I was not coming to the support group now anymore, and I missed support group. Then Louise said I must come and see Joseph, and when I came here he said no, there are no jobs here now at that moment unless I can work at the container. Then I said yes, it's fine. And that time I didn't mind because I was earning salary there, and here I'm going to work on commission basis. Then I said no, it's fine as long as I'm happy with that. Then I opened the container. I worked there. Then Joseph started to get sick. Then I worked there. Then Louis said, okay, I must just work because he was very, very ill. Then I started working at that time. So I can say I'm happy. It's like I'm at home. I've noticed that they've changed because other kids, when they came here, they didn't understand English, and we used to most of the time we used to translate. But now sometimes I used to ask them, do I have to translate for you? Then they'll say no, we do understand. And some of them, they just speak with Nelly or with anyone, they just speak English. And also now this year Louis organized the feeding scheme. We've got a feeding scheme because after school they're just coming straight from here, which is it helps the kids a lot. We are preparing food so that if they're from school they'll just come here straight and eat, and it makes a lot of changes because they know that they've got something to eat. Because some of them, they used to tell me that, Miss, we are hungry. That's why I'm so moody today. You know what? Because what I said to them, if you want to talk, just come to me. Then they'll just come and say, you know, today I'm not in the mood. Then I'll ask why. They say, no, because I'm hungry. Then I say, okay. But this year, they are fine. I love working with them. Even, you know, on weekends, because I know that I must get I have to be off. But if my husband is at work and these kids don't just come and say, Miss, then I say, let's go to Legacy because my house is too small. Then you come here and play, dancing. Even if we've got, sometimes we used to make fundraising, then we keep that money. If you want to sit in, we just buy cool drinks and chips. And it's the way of showing the kids when they grow up. It's not just if they want to be happy, they must go to the taverns, as what is happening here in our community. They must just get together to buy meat, chips, so that they can be together with their friends with drinks. Then we'll play music, they'll dance. Then after that, 5 o'clock, I'll say, okay, let's go home.
Goed werk uit, hoor. Dit is iets wat jy nie sal glo nie, net op daai oomblik. Yeah.
And it makes me laugh because, you know, you think, what am I going to do? Now we've got this person with the baby and the baby's got no food and then somehow it kind of happens.
It was making a very big difference because the people of Kayamandi see this place as the house of hope. It brings hope to Kayamandi people.
Even if I'm not at work, people will come, even from the community, people will come and ask me to help in the houses. So people know us that we are doing such a job, this kind of a job. So it's like, it's a lifestyle now. Even if I'm not here, I'm at home, someone will come and ask anything. can ask me and go and help in the house. So it's like now a lifestyle for me, and I love it.
I think we hoped that the patients would come in, and that in that short time they were with us, we could get an idea of their understanding of their disease process, and so that they weren't defining themselves as someone with HIV, that they were seeing themselves as a person, a brother, a father, a mother, an uncle with a disease or a virus, but they were still an important person.
Ek dink die uitdagende ding dis ook in die KwaZulu se lese, making a difference one person at a time, is ek dink om hierso te kan werk en betrokke te wees, moet jy nogal 'n klein prentjie kan kyk. As jy die groot prentjie kyk, is dit baie daunting en jy voel nogal, ek dink nogal soms useless-erig. En om te fokus op een persoon en hierdie een persoon waar jy verskil maak, en om daarin die versekering te kry van dat jy die regte ding doen, en sonder om nou heilig te klink, ek dink miskien dis dalk bietjie hoe God ook na dit kyk, is een persoon is genoeg, jy hoef nou nie wêreldvrede te bring en jy weet, een persoon is genoeg, dis jou taak, is om met een persoon te werk, hy sal dit verder vat. Dis of sy storie die hele groot prentjie.
Yeah, that the humor keeps us going, that we have to laugh at some of the funny things. To others, they may not be funny. They can be scary. People hallucinate, or with their HIV dementia, they see a fire here and start running around the house. It's scary for the carer. Afterwards, we laugh about it because it's what keeps you going. It's what makes it not as hard.
Some of them come back and say, KLMP is better than the hospital.